The history of American rock music is filled with shooting stars, artists who burn bright for a moment and then fade away. But then, there are the voices that stay, the voices that become the soundtrack to our road trips, our heartbreaks, and our triumphs. Brad Arnold, the lead singer of Three Doors Down, was one of those voices, and today, the silence he leaves behind is deafening. Hello, I'm Hugh Edwards. We are gathering here today to honor the life of a man who defined post-grunge rock for a generation. As many of you know, Brad Arnold passed away on Saturday, February 7, 2026, at the age of 47. He lost a courageous battle with stage 4 kidney cancer. But while his death is a tragedy, his life was a triumph. Today we are going to tell his complete story, from the small town of Escatawpa, Mississippi, to the biggest stages in the world. To understand Brad Arnold, you have to understand where he came from. He wasn't a product of the Los Angeles music machine or the New York club scene. He was a son of the South. Born in 1978, he grew up in a place where everyone knew everyone. He was the youngest of 7 children, a surprise baby as he often joked, and that upbringing grounded him. Brad's musical journey didn't start with a guitar, it started with noise. As a child, he would beat on pots and pans in his mother's kitchen until his parents finally bought him a drum set just to save their cookware. That rhythm was in his blood. In 1995, at just 16 years old, Brad teamed up with guitarist Matt Roberts and bassist Todd Harrell. They formed a band called Three Doors Down. The name itself came from a sign they saw on a building while traveling to a gig in Alabama that had some letters fallen off. It read, "Doors Down." They added the 3 inches because there were 3 of them. It was simple, unpretentious, just like them. But the legend of Brad Arnold truly begins in a high school math class. Picture this, it is the mid-90s. Brad is sitting at his desk, bored, tapping his fingers. He isn't thinking about algebra, he is thinking about a melody. He starts writing lyrics about a superhero who is losing his powers, a metaphor for feeling vulnerable for the first time. That song was Kryptonite. He wrote one of the biggest rock songs in history before he was even old enough to drive a car legally in some states. When Three Doors Down released Kryptonite in 2000, it didn't just climb the charts, it exploded. It was everywhere. You couldn't turn on a radio in America without hearing that driving drum beat, which, by the way, Brad played himself in the studio. He was one of the rare lead singers who also recorded the drum tracks for his debut album. That album, The Better Life, sold over 6 million copies. It went 6 times platinum. Suddenly, the kid from Mississippi, who used to play backyard parties, was touring the world. But Brad wasn't just a one-hit wonder. Critics expected them to fade, but Brad had a secret weapon, his empathy. He wrote songs like Loser and Duck and Run that spoke to the outcasts. He wrote Be Like That for the Dreamers, and then, in 2002, he released When I'm Gone. This song became an unofficial anthem for the United States military. Brad had a deep, unwavering respect for the armed forces. During the height of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, Three Doors Down didn't just pay lip service to the troops, they showed up. They played concerts at bases, they met with soldiers, and they shot music videos that highlighted the sacrifice of service members. Brad became a voice of comfort for thousands of families waiting for their loved ones to come home. However, the road to glory is rarely a straight line. Behind the sunglasses and the sold-out arenas, Brad was fighting his own wars. For years, the pressures of fame took their toll. Brad was open and honest about his struggle with alcohol. He spoke about how the lifestyle of touring, the endless nights, the parties, the isolation of a hotel room led him down a dark path. He wasn't just battling addiction, he was battling his own body. Brad suffered from severe spinal issues, eventually needing intense surgery to insert rods and screws into his neck. He was in pain, both physical and emotional. But this is where Brad's story becomes one of inspiration. In 2016, he made the decision to get sober. He realized that if he wanted to keep singing, if he wanted to be a good husband to his wife Jennifer, he had to change. And he did. He found strength in his faith. Brad was never shy about his belief in God. often taking moments during concerts to speak about hope and redemption. He turned his life around, becoming a beacon of sobriety in an industry that often celebrates excess. He became the last man standing. Over the years, the other original members of Three Doors Down left the band for various reasons, some due to health, others due to legal troubles. But Brad remained. He was the heart, the soul, and the captain of the ship. He kept the music alive because he knew how much it meant to the fans. He once told the Associated Press, "If you do something as long as we've done it, you can't help but get better at it." That humility was his trademark. He never acted like a rock star. He acted like a friend you hadn't seen in a while. Then came the news that shook us all. In May of 2025, the band was preparing for a summer tour. Fans were excited, but suddenly the tour was cancelled. Brad released a statement revealing his diagnosis: Stage 4 clear cell renal carcinoma, kidney cancer that had metastasized to his lungs. It was a devastating blow. But even in his darkest hour, Brad was thinking of others. He didn't ask for pity, he asked for prayers, and he expressed his gratitude for the life he had lived. He spent his final months surrounded by his family, fighting with the same tenacity that he brought to the stage every night. On February 7, 2026, the fight ended. The band announced that he passed away peacefully in his sleep. When we look back at Brad Arnold's life, what do we see? We see a songwriter who could turn simple words into universal emotions. We see a drummer who stepped out from behind the kit to lead a movement. We see a man who fell down, got back up, and used his scars to help others heal. His lyrics were often about loneliness, songs like Here Without You. But because of him, millions of people felt a little less alone. The band said it best in their final farewell. His music reverberated far beyond the stage, creating moments of connection, joy, faith, and shared experiences that will live on. Brad Arnold was 47 years old. He leaves behind a legacy of 6 studio albums, millions of records sold, and a spot in the history books of American rock and roll. But more importantly, he leaves behind a reminder that no matter how dark the night gets, there is always a sunrise waiting if you just hold on. From all of us here, our thoughts and prayers are with his wife Jennifer, his family, his bandmates, and the millions of fans mourning this loss. Rest in peace, Brad. You're finally home. For continuing coverage on this story and tributes from around the music world, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.